Hello and welcome to Unprofessional Engineering, live from Autodesk Accelerate 2019. My name is James.
And you got Luke.
Luke, we're joined now by Lauren Drotar, Associate Application Engineer at IMI Precision Engineering.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So before we get into all the cool things you do and whatever it is that an Associate Application Engineer is, which is a pretty sweet title, we're going to play a little game first to see if you're more of a James or a Luke.
And,
Okay.
and by James, it's more like AKA not a good person.
I wouldn't, not a good person. That's pretty harsh. Maybe not a good engineer, but
Okay.
let's figure it out. So to start, what would you choose, 3D printing or CNC machining?
3D printing.
CAD tool of choice, Inventor or Fusion 360?
Well, I've never really used Fusion 360.
So definitely Inventor.
Definitely Inventor. The
That's
idea
fair.
of not using numbers to parameterize everything kind of gives me nightmares.
Okay.
Nightmares.
One to
That was,
one.
that was aggressive. Do you know anything about simulation?
Only a little bit. I haven't really delved into that fully.
Well, I'm going to skip that one and go to the next one. How about that? Future of energy, solar or wind?
I think that's a regionalized approach.
Well, without being so
Come on
analytical,
now. Come on
and
now.
without dodging the question, if
Yeah.
you had to answer, where you live right now.
That's a loaded question. There's a lot of trees in Connecticut, so I'd probably have to say wind.
See, I feel like you really positioned that just for you to get the point.
I had
Okay.
to get the answer out of her.
But
Okay.
overall, it could be hybridized, and you could maybe do both.
Okay.
It's harder for us to score if you say both.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, so so you've been here at Accelerate for a couple of days, and you've seen a ton of generative design, and
Not that you do any of it.
Not that I do
not
any
that
of
you
it.
do. We've made
Not a
that
one.
clear in the pre-interview discussions, and you've seen a lot of generative design. In your opinion, as a associate engineer, what would you say it's going to have a bigger impact on, aerospace or automotive? And you can't dodge by saying it depends on
Man,
the
I really
what if
wanna
it's
dodge.
a flying car? That
I think it could have the potential to really make a huge impact on the aerospace industry, just with all the weight reduction and strength enhancements, and all of the positive benefits of it. The thing that I think maybe aerospace won't run with it is because of it's just so new right now. I don't think that transition's going to really. I don't think it's going to penetrate that market for probably another couple years.
Okay.
Automotive is really the one that's owning it right now from that perspective.
Okay.
I feel like that was a long no answer.
It was a long.
So which one? Aerospace? Long term, aerospace or automotive?
Which one's going to own it more?
Yeah.
I think automotive's going to own it.
So just for the record, she's been the most difficult person to get
I
answers out of
know.
everybody
that's not
we've
the first
answered.
time I've heard
I
that.
think it's
So,
interesting though that she has
just
the most
saying.
well thought out replies to all of these as well. Okay, last but not
And
least.
most important.
Yeah. Wings or tacos?
Tacos.
So you are the second person that's on Team Luke, just so you know.
That's
out of everyone.
What kind of roster is that?
It is not good.
You don't want to be on either team.
This is
basically,
fair.
Essentially. So first is this unusual title of Associate Application Engineer. Explain why it isn't just Application Engineer or Associate Engineer. What's the deal with the title?
So I'm an associate engineer because I have not yet gotten my bachelor's degree.
Okay.
So company policy where I'm at is a full engineer technically should have a bachelor's or better.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But are you doing everything that a full-blown application engineer would be doing?
Yeah, pretty much.
You probably
Okay.
do more than most of the engineers there.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
You're not beaten down yet and
Well,
discouraged.
I also wouldn't go that far
Oh,
either. No,
okay.
I wear a lot of hats. I work in the sustaining department, and so I take care of, supporting the new product team as things go into development. And I'm in charge of all of the data management for the site, including the ERP system. I'm also in charge of the vault for our site, and all of our engineering changes
So how long have you been there that you're in charge of all of these things?
since March 2017.
So what's that, 2 years?
2.5,
Two and a half? And so you've been in school this whole time?
Yeah, full time.
Full time at school and working.
Full time, yeah.
Whoa.
How many
does that
hours
hap- how
are
does that
in your
happen?
day?
A lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you work full time and go to school full time?
Night school.
Oh, so you're doing your degree in the okay.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that is night school. Is it? I've never really attended night school. Is it like
You rarely attended any school.
I that's true. Is it easier, harder? Is it a different scene? I imagine.
It's
would
extremely different. Like my early evening classes, I should say. You can obviously watch the afternoon classes ending, and the attendees to the day classes are younger people you would typically think to be in college at whatever level. And then, the night crew rolls in, and there's people from, I'm one of the younger ones at 24, but there's people in their 30s, 40s, 50s attending these classes with me that have been in the industry for, their whole lives.
Okay.
That's mega impressive. Not only that you're doing your full-time job and going to school to get your degree so that you can eliminate that associate in front of your title, but just imagine like how tired am I? I can't imagine going
Well,
back
most
to school
of your
now.
tiredness is from age.
I am old. Well, she just said that old people like us are there as well. So
said older.
It was nice. It was nice. It was nicely said. But.
So I also understand that even before this company, you were doing like some stuff way back in your high school days. Could you go way back in your time machine, like 4
drinking.
years,
Hang
and
out.
and describe how you like initially like got into the industry doing what you're doing?
So I had the amazing opportunity to attend the Connecticut Technical High School Systems.
Okay.
So I'm a vinyl tech graduate.
Can you
Did
go
you
into
say- did you
detail
say
what that is?
vinyl? Tech?
Vinyl, yeah.
Vinyl tech.
That's like their,
Not spelled like the flooring, but
Okay.
yeah, vinyl. That was
Okay.
the name of the school.
That's
It's
cool.
somebody's last name. I don't know what they did, but they apparently made enough of an
Had a lot of
impact
money.
to get a technical high school named after them.
Okay.
So what's the deal with that?
So there's actually technical high school systems in, I think, all of the 50 states, including like Guam and Puerto Rico and
You know those aren't any of the states, right?
well, I know.
Oh,
The
okay.
U.S. territories.
Maybe that's in your final semester classes. I don't know.
I don't know. I did take geography a very long time ago. But there's technical high school systems all across the country. And the format of my system was to balance the 182-day school year with 91 days in shop and 91 days in academics. And that rotated on a cycle. So I might be in academics for 2 weeks, and then I'd be in shop for 9 days. And then I'd be in academics for 13 days, and then rotate back to shop for the entire 4 years that I was in high school. My high school offered 11 different technologies. I chose CAD. I didn't want to do CAD really initially. I wanted to go into auto body, and my mom put her foot down. Thank you, Mom.
Good job, Mom.
Oh.
Yeah. And was like, no, like, this is your second choice. Like, I'm not going to let you go be a body technician. So here I am. Thanks, Mom.
That's awesome.
That's probably a wise decision
It
that your
was.
mother made for you.
And I knew she was right. But when you're 14 and you really enjoy working on cars like that, you were like, Mom, why?
So you initially, so it was all CAD. So this is like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Inventor, like all the different flavors.
Well, we actually started, my freshman year was the last year to go on the boards.
Oh.
So I started off, with a T-square.
I like
and-
that.
Did you really?
I really did, yeah.
I
Wow.
thought that stopped a list. So,
I did too.
So I took a few tech ed classes at the regular high school that I was at, and we were using T-squares and I thought most schools kind of phased that out, and they were starting with like AutoCAD. So it's I actually think that's a good thing to do, is to have that,
for
that
sure.
board experience. So I'm glad that you had that opportunity.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had the big tall drafting chair and the drafting board and the eraser brush, like the whole nine. It was great. And just being able to think in that manner and having an appreciation for how long it takes to do anything and how critical a mistake is when you have to redo a whole J-size print on Mylar, when you're erasing all of it by hand. It's crazy. So it definitely gives you a major respect for that.
Okay, so enough of you making me feel bad about how
About your life?
basically about all my life choices and my mom not making good ones for me. Let's get into what your job is now. Let's pretend you're not going to college as well and tired. What is it that you do on the day-to-day?
So on a day-to-day basis, I do everything from support the production floor. So if they have a job that's being processed that's, not going quite right, or they have a question or something, I handle that. Or I'm part of the department that handles that. It's not just me. And then I'm also the one that takes point on all engineering changes. And I really follow that process everywhere from the request comes in, and I have to kind of filter it and see if it's a valid request or why they're making the request, etc. Get some of those preliminary documentation together. And then I follow through with that packet everywhere from making sure we got quotes from suppliers updated, or first articles approved, or PPAP, or any of that. So that's really the primary function of my role. And then I've also taken on all of the data management for our site. So we use JD Edwards as our ERP system, and I approve all of the new part setups that go through, and, all of those changes, and correlating with all the different sites across the Americas to make sure our information is standardized. And I'm the Vault admin as well. So I'm in charge of that.
That's a mouthful. That seems like a lot for someone that. So you're 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Does anybody ever push back, like, you're not even an engineer yet?
No, not really. I've been pretty lucky with that, at least at this company.
That's nice.
Yeah, and nobody ever calls me an associate engineer. Like, when customers
Just
or vendors come in, like, and they're like, "Oh, this is one of our engineers, Lauren," which I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, thanks for not downgrading me."
Yeah.
That's nice.
So I know I said we're going to talk about the job, but I keep getting sidetracked. What flavor of engineering are you going for?
Mechanical.
Right.
Thank
Yeah, the best engineering.
The only kind of engineer.
That's
really.
right.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just kidding.
routinely make fun of primarily electrical.
Really?
But we throw in civils quite a bit.
They're the worst.
Well, they're
Come
the
on.
ones that tried to be mechanical engineers, and then they couldn't hang
couldn't.
after statics.
Yeah.
Oh, see?
She knows how it is.
Perfect.
This is wonderful.
So, a couple things. You said Vault admin. Now, were you involved with the implementation of the Vault?
Yep. So that's what I've been
yeah.
speaking about here at Accelerate.
Okay, so good. So we missed your presentation, unfortunately. I'm sure it was magnificent and standing ovation, I'm sure. Give us the 2-minute version of your presentation, what you covered, the implementation that you went through, and what that whole process was like.
Sure. So just a little tiny bit of background. IMI is a global company, and about 3-4 years ago, they decided that we were not all of us, but a lot of the sites were going to switch to Vault Professional. Some were already at Vault Basic, some were using SolidWorks. It was a huge undertaking. So I spearheaded the transition for our Farmington, Connecticut site where I'm located. And that's really what the presentation was about. Just all of the things that I wish I'd known before we made the change, like all the preparation I would have done and questions I would have asked, and just kind of the whole purpose is to help anybody that's about to make that leap or thinking about making that leap, really try to get their data in order so that they can optimize that process.
And what would you say if you had to pick? I'm not sure if you remember. What were some of the biggest aha moments or hurdles that you had where you were like, oh, I wish I would have done it differently, if you could pick one or two?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest issues we had was just we had such a time crunch. We had deadlines, and then we'd run into issues that were, unanticipated, as with any project you're transitioning like that. And just having to keep to that strict deadline was probably the biggest hurdle we had to overcome. And then, little things like I didn't know until it was, almost too late that we couldn't have duplicate file names in the vault. So I had to process like over 5,000 files and find the real version and which one was right. And so that was all happening, within a month of leading up to the transition, and just things like that were totally unexpected.
So how many sites are now running Vault?
I have to think. I know there's 5 in Asia Pacific region that are fully implemented. There are maybe 5 or 6 sites in the North Americas region that will be transitioned. I think 3 of those are now done. Mine was the first site in America.
Well done.
Thank you. And then I don't even know how many in the European region, but they're slowly chipping away there, everywhere from Germany to Switzerland, and the UK.
So everyone at each of these sites, everybody's working off of the same files, though.
It's kind of like that. Each site has their own individual vault,
Okay.
and the benefit is that they're all on the same servers. So if I need to access one of my sister sites' material, because we regularly sell and use their products and ours, I can access their files. You know, I can put an IT ticket, get in the access, and then access their files read only without having to ping anybody, which is a huge benefit.
So we probably should have asked this way earlier. Give us an idea what IMI Precision Engineering does. I just realized as soon as you said that.
I was going to kind of skip that.
Yeah. What exactly the company does, and yeah.
So we are a fluid control device manufacturer, and we're across 3 divisions: IMI Precision, which is the one I'm part of, IMI Critical, and IMI Hydronic. I don't really know what the other 2 divisions do. I think there's some overlap there, but they're different applications. So my site specifically manufactures solenoid valves and manifold units that either integrate with those solenoid valves or are used on their own in customer applications.
And these are big, small?
It depends. Like our solenoid valves individually, we have 4 different series we operate out of our site, and they're anywhere from around 1 inch in diameter to about 2 inches in diameter. Okay. And then incorporating our sister valves as well. Those can get really tiny.
Okay.
But the manifolds themselves can be anywhere from fitting in the palm of your hand to, the size of a laptop.
Gotcha.
So do you design these parts as well as all this other fun stuff that you do?
Sometimes I get
that's
actual
cool.
applications work
Yeah.
despite my title. So there's a couple jobs I've been working on, but because I work in the sustaining department, that's not something I've really, unfortunately, gotten to be able to be part of, but I believe that's something that I'll be transitioning to in the near future.
In sustaining department, what does that mean? You're the vault admin and all these other things? Is that what that department does, or is that even something different than all of this?
So the sustaining department is just like, the production support, legacy support department. That's the name of my little family there.
Your little family. That must be pretty rewarding, though, actually designing something and seeing it be manufactured. Mm-hmm. That's pretty nice. We kind of miss out on that here in the software side of things.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Next question?
Yeah, next question.
We're going to wrap it up,
well,
or are we
I know
good?
you have one that you have written there.
Yeah, we'll do that one at the end,
okay.
if you like.
No, go ahead.
So if you had to give some advice to someone that was thinking about attending Accelerate or even Autodesk University, you mentioned Autodesk University, which you will be at.
Yep.
Do you want to give a plug for
generative.
you want to give a plug for your class? Do you know the name of it and the number?
So I don't know the number, but the class title is What You Need to Know Before You Go, Tips and Tricks for Transitioning to Vault. So it'll be similar material, but on a more technical level of what I've presented yesterday at the Accelerate conference.
Okay, so with that in mind, have you been to an AU before? Is this
I
your
was in
first
2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you've been to an AU, you've now been to an Accelerate. If you had to give someone the push to attend an event like this, what's one of the biggest benefits that you think comes out of these types of events?
So this was my first Accelerate conference, and the biggest thing I think I've been able to take away from it is the ability to talk to other people, especially because this is such a PLM, PDM focused conference, but also incorporating all that generative design as well. Being able to talk to people and have them say, hey, I went through an issue like you. Here's my card. Email me. I can help you through it. That's just been so helpful. And I know that there's at least 2 or 3 people that are going to help me. And there's a few more that I'm going to help, deal with their own issues and just try to make everything better.
We've heard that from a few people so far this week, and it's something that you brought up, Luke, as well, is that we, Autodesk, we think, oh yeah, we know what you need, and we know that we can help all of your problems and fix everything. But the amount of support that everyone seems to be getting from the different networking going on here, either figuring out problems that you have that are similar, or coming up with different applications that you might not have even known were available, just seems like a huge benefit to everyone.
Absolutely. And I think it's been really interesting that I think the most networking I've been doing hasn't necessarily been with Autodesk employees, although everybody I've worked with has been phenomenal since I've been here. But all of the people that are going to help me or I'm going to help, they're all other customers.
Right.
So that's been huge.
And probably the most helpful Autodesk employees are us.
Obviously.
I mean, I would...
I think that was just assumed.
It was implied.
Yes, it was an implied statement.
Okay, so last question. So empowering women in engineering has been super passionate for Lisa Campbell. She's one of our senior VPs or VPs here at Autodesk, and we
CMO.
Yeah, she's CMO as well. That's right. And we chatted with her last year at Autodesk University, and she's super passionate about it. And it sounds like you've always kind of had this technical angle back since high school. You know, whether it's going to be automotive or the CAD angle. If you had some advice for a young woman listening to this, that's in high school, in college, not sure what they want to do, they don't think engineering or body work is for them, what would be the advice you would give to that young woman?
For someone that thinks they want to do it?
Yeah, or they think that maybe it's not, they don't fit, because that's kind of what people say sometimes, unfortunately.
Oh, absolutely. I would just say, persevere. Like, there's a niche for everybody. I've worked at places that wasn't very female friendly, and the culture wasn't very female friendly. And now I found myself in an environment where, I'm the first female engineer at my site. And all of the guys are like family to me. They're like brothers and fathers and just great people. So you will find your niche if that's something you want to do. And, don't let anybody tell you like, oh, you really shouldn't be here. Or if they want to think down on you and you think it might be because you're a female, like, who cares? Like, that's their problem. That's not yours.
Yeah.
And just keep doing what you want to do.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Be you.
Be you. Luke, you be you too.
Thank you.
All right, so Lauren, we're going to have to wrap this up. We have another interview coming in, but thank you for joining us. This was really impressive and only made me feel a little bit bad about myself.
It made me feel a lot bad about myself.
All right, well, thanks again, and until next time.
See ya.
Thank you.